chat. How you doing? All right, guys. Sorry, guys. Ooh, busy day. Now walking back to Firestone to pick up my truck. But how is everyone doing? Long time no see. This is Mr. GTAG UPOS on his walk and talk. How is everyone doing today? I hope everyone's having a lovely day. Hope you're living your best life. And I hope you're succeeding in all your... I have a new endeavor. I'm going to try and get legislation passed, guys, in Texas, particularly. I know there's laws against certain reports being made to officers, but sad dude. That little guy. These little dudes. But the goal is to try and pass legislature, kind of how they have in New York, where if someone is falsifying a report to dispatch, you can be held liable if you are falsifying that report to make it seem as if you are in danger. I forgot what they named the act, the bill, but it makes it to where you can't falsify reports. Which brings me to this main topic. Always get the incident report. Always get the incident report on any call that you have. Always get it. If someone approaches you and they're an officer, get the call number. All right? Get the incident report. Get that information and request it via public records. It's very simple. You just email them, send them that little number, send them what you want, and just ask them for the details of the report. And I do this for every time I get stopped. Get the details of the report and see what they complained about. Some people will say, oh, he was filming my house, which, again, doesn't put you in danger. However, I sometimes open carry, right? And I'm going to show you where this goes. I open carry sometimes whenever I'm doing my photography because, hey, I don't have time to fight with thousands of dollars of equipment on me and a backpack and everything else. And sometimes I just don't feel like throwing hands. I'm going to admit, I don't want to throw hands. I want to chill. I was walking in Plano, Texas the other day. Went to a car show. They said it's a paid event. However, I am not trying to spend any money. I'm trying to be here for the free on the low. So I said, hey, I'm going to take some pictures of what I can see from public view. Saw a nice Iron Man car. Took a picture of that. Started walking on my way to do some public photography. Now, while walking through a neighborhood, a family called and said, hey, there's a black male with a camera, a tripod, and a gun holstered to his hip. Don't know what's up with it, but hey, police, I just see him walking down the street. Now, that statement was not false. That is not anything I want to go ahead and stop people from doing. I think it's good that you go ahead and said the truth of what's happening, and they investigated. And I'm going to repeat, I do not want to stop people from calling the cops on situations like that where they tell the truth. Now, here's where things get a little iffy. The cops show up and they encounter me. We talk, they were polite, so I was polite. That's how I am. If you're polite with me, I'm polite with you. Okay? We talked. They said, hey, just so you know, someone called about you They said you had a gun. I see you're carrying them perfectly fine, perfectly legal. You're not being detained. I just want to let you know, someone called about you. Have a nice day. I said, sir, you have a great day as well. But before you go, let me get the incident report. Gives me that incident report. He drives off. 5 minutes later after that interaction, and this is based off of the math that I'm doing, someone else calls and says, there's a black man on the street. It's correct. He's got a gun in his hands. Not holstered, in his hands. They then said, he's approaching my door. Wow, I'm now approaching people's doors now, guys. I'm stepping off of the sidewalk and approaching people's doors with a gun in my hand. What else they say? That I'm hiding in front of people's cars, right? In front of their black SUVs. I'm hiding in front of their cars. Not behind it, but in front of it. Maybe I'm searching through my phone for some music. Maybe I'm just laughing like always whenever I get the cops called on me and dialoguing to my camera. They say, oh, he's talking to himself. Which again, you never know if you're talking to yourself or, dialoguing in the camera or even speaking with somebody with today's technology. Hey, we got Bluetooth. We got sunglasses with microphones in them, which I do have. Pretty awesome. There's no way to tell if I was talking to myself. And let's see. They said they felt so far in danger, they had to move their family from one side of the house to the other side of the house because I was so threatening. Oh, with the, let me see, are you talking about the, when I was sitting in the car eating food? Is that the one you're referring to? There's a lot of interactions. So if it was that one, we resolved that, not in court, we resolved that civilly. I talked to the one who was trying to get into my car when I unlocked the car. I talked to him personally, and he was like, this was a this is his words, this was a learning experience for him in the community. He did apologize for other people in the community for the way they acted. And I've said this multiple times on my stream, like, hey, don't worry about that guy. Don't worry about that interaction. Again, my goal is to just be able to film and walk through the area unprovoked. I could have pressed charges, but I was like, what would that solve in general? It just make sure that they always hate me whenever I come by, right? So I told him, this is an education thing, right? Look up state statutes here for yourself. Look up what false imprisonment is. Look at what, kidnapping is. And look at what you're doing. And just know that I could have taken it further. However, that's not my goal. My goal is to go about my day. And the way they handled it, the way we handled it, we both could have handled it differently, right? Not saying they're in the wrong, not saying I'm in the wrong, just saying things could have been handled differently. The only time where it got to where it was slightly racist was when that one redhead guy came up and said, way to act your color. I remember that vaguely. And me signing to him, hey, shh, don't do that, because again, the internet is like the wild, wild west. Okay? They hear one thing and they hear you, grouped up with that one person saying that one thing, they're going to assume not one of y'all is racist. No, they're going to assume the whole group is racist. Long story short, they were drinking, they were having a good time, they were just, overzealous in their reaction. And then they had their defenses up because they didn't know what was going on. Again, I understand. But they did apologize because they understand it was wrong the way they reacted. and that they shouldn't have an issue with somebody with a camera walking down the street. And they apologize. All right? They apologize. And it takes a real person to apologize. Even they had phone calls coming from some of the people calling in, cussing them out, calling them racist, homophobic, and a whole bunch of other stuff and things like that. And he actually answered the call while I was there and said, hey, I'm going to be in this city next week. Do you want to have a discussion about it? We can talk about it, So I actually have to applaud him for, owning up to what he did, what they did, and, carrying on, living on. I'm not here to hold grudges. I'm just here to document my day. If something happens in the middle of me documenting my day, and it happens to catch the internet, it's not me doing it to you. It's you doing it to yourself. But back to the situation that happened this Saturday. As you know, I haven't been live streaming that much. I had some issues recently last week. And for a couple months, I've been having some issues trying to log on and get my live going. Where I thought it was shadow banned, but apparently it's just shitty phones, shitty internet. But the second call, they exaggerated to a certain degree where I would say, this is actually putting my life in danger. You said that I have my gun in my hand, right? My gun in my hand compared to being holstered. You then said I was approaching your door. Now, if I hear this from a dispatch reason, right, or, perspective, there's a man with a gun in his hand, and he's approaching my door. Why is he approaching my door with a gun in his hand? Luckily, the same officer who came up to me the first time and we had a discussion showing up, and he came around the second time. He didn't even make contact with me, but just saw me walking as normal. And that's the reason why I'm gonna try and get this recording, hear exactly what they said. Because according to the report says I had a gun in my hand. The report said I was hiding in front of someone's car, waiting for them. The report also says that I was approaching someone's door, which in my case could result in an officer hearing those details and saying, well, we need to come in super hot. But again, like I said, luckily it was the same officer from last time. We had no issues. He just drove by, saw me from a distance, said he's not doing anything illegal, radioed back to dispatch, and left. But it could always have ended up worse. Imagine if they got that second call the first time. Imagine. Exactly. And this is the thing. I always request for the incident report. What was exactly being said to dispatch? And this is the thing I want all of us auditors, if you consider yourself an auditor or just somebody who just likes to go out there and do photography or even carry your weapon as you're allowed to do. We need to start getting these reports, getting these documents, and reaching out to our legislature and making it to the point where, hey, listen to this phone call and look at this video. Where did you ever see me do any of those actions? And why is it not illegal for them to do that? Why is it not illegal for them to make those accusations the way they made them, to make it seem like their life was in danger when it was not? Yet, if an officer heard that and assumed the worst, and they came by and saw a camera in my hands, what's up, David? And they saw a camera in my hands and said, assume the worst. and decide to go ahead and shoot the club up, bow, 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 and I end up dead because of it. Why is that not against the law to begin with? Because it's only against the law if an injury or arrest happens afterwards. So if I was arrested because of it, or I was injured because of it, then they'd be held liable, but not for the initial, call. That's the thing. And I called the dispatch and I said, hey, I need to speak to somebody who knows something about, if this is already a law, what's already on the books. I need to speak to somebody in your record, somebody who's able to deal with your professional standards. You know what they did? They transferred me to another dispatcher who was a supervisor. And I said, this is not what I asked for. I'm asking to speak to somebody who knows about the laws in general in your area, like a PIO, somebody, And instead of doing that, the dispatcher says, well, how do you know they weren't telling the truth? I'm not calling to argue with you. I'm calling to get some information because I think this needs to be a law. I think 100% this needs to be a law. You cannot exaggerate a situation that puts you in danger, right? You cannot create a story that puts your livelihood in danger to try and lock another person up or remove them from the street. They said, well, what would you do if you saw somebody with a gun holster, and then a device in their hands? Wouldn't you assume it's a gun? I tell them no, because I have eyeballs. I can tell the difference between a gun, a pew-pew, and a camera that you're holding like this, right? There's a difference. And if you can't tell the difference, you shouldn't be reporting on it. You should be getting your eyes checked. But that's the goal right now. So if anybody is in Texas and you have any reports where a call was exaggerated, okay? And the cops arrived to this exaggerated call. If you have the opportunity to do so, if you have the time to do so, I have my email listed in my About page. I'd like for anyone to go ahead and send it to me. Thank you, David. Just any information, send it through the email. Because this is my goal right now, is to get this passed. To have it looked at, reviewed, and passed would be great. Don't mess with me, bird. You're in my business. Sorry, that bird was in my... Yo, I told you once, bird. Whoa, man. She almost hit me. Let me tell y'all, I'm in the parking lot here at a Whataburger. I gotta pick up my car, but she came in pretty hot. But picture that situation where the lady just came by me, right? Now picture she came in pretty fast, it's fine. Right? Now picture if I called the cops and says, oh my God, this lady, she just came into the parking lot and she's chasing me down with her car, trying to run me over. Right? There's a difference in the way you report it. One was very inflammatory. She came in pretty hot. She almost hit me. That's crazy, right? Compared to, man, this lady chased me down and almost hit me. Yep. But you see, this is the thing. I don't think we need to, we're not going to find a lot of laws out there or get any legislation out there that makes the police liable. But we can at least prevent, at least attempt to prevent false narratives being created that harm the citizens. Because that right there is the issue. That is the number one issue, in my opinion, with Saturday. What's up, News Now Fort Worth? How are you doing? No, I have my body cam on, but I'm waiting for the phone call because I requested the actual recording because I want to hear exactly what they said. I want to hear exactly what they said. I don't want to just take the report for what the report says, because either one person is lying or, you know, the report is true, right? So if the report is true, then the caller is lying. If the report is false, then dispatch is lying. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that in a world where we're supposed to have faith in the police to go ahead and serve justice and shit like that. You know what I mean? We can't have that where they're supposed to uphold laws, because, of course, if you don't know, if you live in Texas, anytime you pull your gun, that is deadly force. That is 100% considered deadly force. Once you pull your gun, once you pull it, whether you pull the trigger or not, it's considered deadly force. So, for them to say that I pulled my gun, that is the equivalency of saying, hey, he's using deadly force in the neighborhood, and I fear for my life. And they would have every right to fear for their life if I did pull my gun. And when deadly force is being used, officers are allowed to use, you know, deadly force in a deadly force situation. They're even allowed to go a step above, right? That's usually how it goes. They say, look, if you're using physical force, non-lethal, we're allowed to go a step above. So say if you're using your hands, we're allowed to use pepper spray. Say if you got a small weapon that's non-deadly, we get to use a taser. Say if you got a taser in your hand, we get to go ahead and use a gun. But initiating the call saying that there's a gun in hand, that means that deadly force is already being used because the gun is in your hand. So we can't have that. We can't have reports like that. We can't have reports saying that deadly force is being used when it's not. Let me turn down my AC so it ain't blasting so hard. You know, the sun ain't out right now, at least too heavy. But we can't have that. We can't. It should be totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And I think it should be held, like, they should be held criminally liable. I think a fine should be applied to those people who make false reports like that. The guy had an Afro Samurai on his car. I wish y'all could see it. I'm gonna read that comment once I park. But yeah, I think there should be at least a fine saying, hey, you lied on this report. This never happened. This never happened. He never pulled his gun. What are you talking about? And he never approached your door. Matter of fact, it seems like you're just trying to incite a panic so the cops arrive and, you know, violate his rights and or do some harm to him. These false reports need to be taken more seriously because, again, that's how people get killed. And if people don't care about that, then they support Emmett Till's accuser, right? That's my go-to. You support Emmett Till's accuser if you do not think that's an issue, because you can make up anything, and if it's not being held to a standard of like criminality where you're falsifying your report, there needs to be something done about it. And that's just my opinion. That's my opinion. I think a lot of people share that opinion, but they don't know how to go about, handling it. So that's our goal right now. We need to go ahead. If y'all any reports in any state that you're in, any reports in any state that you're in, that has a call that was made about you or someone else that was exaggerated, and the police arrived, I need you to go ahead and send that to my email. Send the report to my email. Right? And I'm gonna read y'all's comments once I park. I don't want to be a hypocrite and be considered reading text while driving and all that other good junk. I'm trying to be responsible. You gotta be responsible, guys. You gotta be a stand-up citizen. Everybody's putting up their trash cans for today. Whoa. Jesus. But definitely, guys, if y'all have any reports, send them to my email. I would love to have all this stuff documented and, something to present to, at least, some form of legislature here, because this is going to be something that's very important to me, right? Something I want to see get done, because I think whenever you can actually penalize the people who are making these false reports and doing it maliciously, I think that's the point where we can actually see a change in the community, in the auditing community and the accountability community. Because whenever you're actually able to hold somebody liable for their stories, right, that they're making up, right, then that's when I have to say, this is putting everyone in the forms of accountability, right? Okay, let's back this thing up. Oh, man. Love my truck, man, but this thing is freaking savage, homie. That's right. Alright. So let me go ahead and read y'all's messages. What's up, Jingy? What's up, Ken? Yes, Ken, a lot of people do amaze me with their fear levels, and it's just, in my opinion, it's comical sometimes, but it's only comical whenever it's like not at a serious level. You know what I mean? Like not at the serious level of saying like, hey, this person is actively putting my life in danger. You know what I mean? How you doing, Jingy? Yes. And you're right. Anything you say or do will be used against you in the court of law. It will be not used for you, right? It will be not used to help you. It will be used against you. So, guys, be careful what you say whenever you're dealing with the police. But definitely, if y'all have any reports, I'm going to say this and I'm going to end the stream in a second. If y'all have any reports, I'm telling you, this will help out beneficially. Any reports that y'all have that shows where a false report was made and either police shown up and harm may have been done or an arrest was made, which again I still find harmful regardless, because you're arresting somebody, you're putting them in the system. If anybody has any information like that, I'd appreciate it if you send it to my email. And I think the community can definitely go ahead and, do something super awesome with getting some form of bill passed, because that's what we need to do. We need to stop these false reports from happening, right? And that goes for anything that says that this person's putting my life in active danger, right? And I want to clearly say that if they're reporting that their life is being put in active danger by your actions, right, then that needs to be held to a criminal standard at that, if it's not true, right? If it's not true. So calling, I'm going to clarify this, calling and making a report of what you see is not an issue. Calling and exaggerating the actions of what you see is the issue, all right? Hey, there's somebody out here taking pictures, it weirds me out. Fine. Hey, there's somebody out here taking pictures and threatening me, and I fear for my life. He said he's going to kick my ass. Not fine. Whenever there's a actual, story being made about your life being put in danger, and it's not true, you should be held criminally liable. And that's where I'm going to leave it at. And I also think that'll help with a lot of other false accusations. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and head out. I got some things to do. I see something happening right now. I think one of my neighbors is needing some help from me. But love, peace, chicken grease, guys. Take it easy. Love you guys. Again, thank you for joining in, and y'all have a great night.